Every family farm, I think, is always special. And that's because there's that generational legacy. But for me, it's beyond that actual physical farm. It's our family's lifestyle. We love this way of life. At the end of the day, it is 100% for those kids and giving them options for when they're older and teaching our kids the right way to do things. My husband and I, we both come from family farms. I would be the sixth generation of my family farming in Iowa.
So I grew up on a small farm, and whenever I can remember, I was outside playing with toy tractors in the sandbox to eventually driving those tractors and helping my dad with livestock. And once you start doing it, it just becomes a part of your life, and it's hard to walk away from it. We're drawn to this job. We feel a need to produce food for the world.
Our dream always was to farm, and so we don't farm the family farm that I grew up on, but my husband and I have figured out a way to buy into another farm and expand and work on our own operation. And so while I didn't get to come back and farm with my father, he passed away before I had that opportunity. He taught me a lot about what it meant to be a farmer and farming the land in a really conservation stewardship mindset that was really important to my dad. And so I got to see all of that growing up, and I knew just from watching him that it was something that I wanted to do with my life. My dad, he was such an important, impactful person in my life. He always took something away from that job and took it to the next job to improve how he approached the next job. What it taught me the most is just that throughout trial and error, we can solve for great challenges. And I think that has carried with me throughout my life.
It's that same kind of drive we have because this is our passion and we want to work hard to perfect what we do. So when we have the chance to do it, we're as good as we can possibly be.
When I think about how that comes back to this theme of sustainability that's kind of been always in my blood, is we have a great opportunity every single year. What can we do to be just a little bit better than we were the last year? And we do that for a lot of reasons, but predominantly we do it so we can stay profitable and that we can have a farm one more year. And I think that, that theme of always doing things a little bit better, not just for us, but for our environment and for our community and our neighbors and everybody else who's impacted by what we do. It's so important that we do things right. And as an operation that wants to be here for the future, we got to be able to adapt.
We have two young boys. Will they become farmers someday? I don't know. That's their choice to make, not mine. But for me, it's important to know that there's an opportunity for them to come back. And that's what drives me to work as hard as I do today. You want the next generation to have the same opportunities and to do better. And we know that for our next generation to do better, we have to leave our farm in better shape than what we got it. And so we work pretty hard every year to make sure that we're doing right by the soil, we're doing right by the environment. And so as you look at Pivot, we're able to get away from the modern fertilizers, using nitrogen that's environmental friendly, nitrogen that's there for the plant all year long. And so that's important to us because we feel it's better for the soil and it's better for the overall plant health. And in the end, when your soil is healthier and your plants are healthy, your environment is just in better shape. Our ground, it's our livelihood. It's of the utmost importance to us to make sure that it's well taken care of. And that's one of the reasons products like Pivot are continuing to be used on our farm today.
So my dad didn't get the privilege to meet my kids. And that's always something that is hard, right? Because he was such an important, impactful person in my life. So I tried to relay the stories and the experiences and the things I learned from my dad or with my dad back to them. And I think whether we build this and our kids decide this is something that they want to pursue or they decide it's not for them, we've at least taught them and instilled in them why what we do is important and why maintaining family farms are important and why maintaining the land and the environment that we work on is important. Hopefully what that does is gives us an opportunity to have a pathway should any of our kids or Vachelle, our partner's kids, want to be involved in the operation, that there is a place for them here if they so choose it. We have a lot of personal pride in what we do and who we are and what we stand for as a farm family. My dad I think he would be really proud of what we've built. I learned a lot from my dad, and I think he would be really excited to see some of the different things that we're doing here, but then maybe still some of, carrying on some of the traditions and some of the things that were sort of in his blood or the way he would have approached things. So taking those learnings and incorporating them into kind of our own new path forward. It is definitely full circle to have the opportunity to do the same thing. Living on the farm, just experiencing this legitimate privilege, being able to do it as a family. Man, I hope he would be really proud.